In a move that has sent shockwaves through the business world, the Federal Trade Commission voted 3-2 this week to ban most non-compete agreements that restrict workers from leaving for a competitor. The decision has sparked an immediate legal backlash, with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other trade groups suing the FTC in federal court to block the new rule. At the heart of this fight is a fundamental question: what level of control should companies have over their employees and the information they possess? Defenders of non-competes argue they are necessary to protect confidential data and investments made in worker training. Critics contend these agreements stifle competition and worker mobility. The FTC, for its part, estimates a staggering 30 million Americans, from high-paid executives to hourly workers, are bound by non-competes. Addressing non-competes that curtail Americans' economic freedom is at the very heart of our mandate, an FTC spokesperson said defiantly in response to the lawsuits. But the business groups challenging the ban insist the FTC has overstepped its authority. They argue any such sweeping rule change should go through Congress. Since its inception over 100 years ago, the FTC has never been granted the constitutional and statutory authority to write its own competition rules, Chamber of Commerce CEO Suzanne Clark said bluntly. Until now, non-compete policy has largely been left to the states. Dozens have imposed some limitations, but only a handful like California have banned them outright. Efforts to enact broader restrictions, such as in New York last year, have often faced fierce resistance from powerful business interests. This uneven landscape has created a complex patchwork of rules that multi-state employers must navigate. It's also led to heart-wrenching situations where workers are slapped with lawsuits or steep fines for taking a better job to support their families. The FTC's national ban aims to create a simpler, fairer system. As the legal challenges play out in the coming months, companies that rely on non-competes are in a difficult position. Do they keep enforcing potentially unenforceable contracts? Rewrite agreements under a cloud of uncertainty? The costs and risks are substantial. Some observers believe the FTC rule, even if ultimately struck down, will still have a major impact. It's going to have a very real impact on the ways companies behave and the expectations of individuals regardless of whether it was legally put into effect, says employment lawyer Pamela Abate de Tillo. Lost in the legal wrangling is a more fundamental debate over the role non-competes should play in a modern economy. Proponents say they encourage companies to invest in their workers, knowing that knowledge won't walk out the door to a rival. Detractors argue they depress wages, entrench inequities, and hamper innovation by preventing the spread of ideas. As someone who has long championed the dynamism and fluidity of the American labor market, I tend to favor more worker mobility over less. But I also recognize the legitimate business interests at stake. The challenge is striking the right balance, protecting intellectual property and trade secrets, while still allowing workers to pursue their livelihoods freely. Wherever one comes down on non-competes, this much is clear: the FTC's move has forced a long-simmering issue into the national spotlight in dramatic fashion. The battle lines are drawn, and the outcome will have major ramifications for workers and employers alike. In an economy being reshaped by remote work, job hopping, and rapid technological change, few issues are more consequential. The non-compete debate is just getting started.